right. Thanks, everyone, for coming out to our chapter meeting. We're really happy to have you. We have a couple exciting things happening tonight, a couple speakers, and then you guys can tour the House of Horrors, look at our stucco walls, meet with our marketing team, and that kind of thing. So right now I'm going to introduce our founder of InterNACHI, Nick Ramico.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out. First, I want to tell you, January 31st, I believe, we're having a real big event here, an open house, and a big tour. You'll get to go through our House of Horrors, and our marketing department's going to be here to help you build logos, brochures, things like that. Our attorney will be here with the legal staff to help you with any legal questions. If you want to talk about setting up a corporation or asset protection or your agreement system or anything like that. And we'll have other staffers here that will help you with your business. That's on January 31st. March 1st through 5th, we're having Inspection Summit, which is essentially our 2017 convention. That's March 1 through 5. So I can hope to see you at both of those events. I'll give you a little explanation of what this facility is. When you come in, and many of you missed it because you first come in the door, on the right-hand side is the Inspector Museum. And it has a bunch of really interesting things. It has the first inspection book ever from the 1920s. It has the first flashlight that's battery operated from the late 1800s. We also have a $250,000 infrared camera. That's how much it cost in 1972. You used to have to wear a backpack with liquid nitrogen in to keep the camera cold during the inspection. So in today's dollars, I think it cost about 60 grand back then. In today's dollars, it's worth $250,000. And it's laying on the floor right by the entry if you ever want to see it. As you come through the complex on January 31st and on our March 1 through 5th event, you'll get to meet our marketing department, which will all be there. They'll help you build a few things. But today, as you come through, the bathrooms are on the end of this hall on the right-hand side. And if you get locked out, the code is 1020. Hopefully nobody gets locked in the bathroom. If you want to take one of my books and go into the bathroom, you go right ahead. It's the Good Bathroom Reads. On the left-hand side, as you come through, there's a big apparel section right here. And everybody's entitled to a free T-shirt, InterNACHI T-shirt. Just ask one of the ladies to bring it to you. She'll size it for you and give you a free T-shirt on the way out. We're going to do the House of Horrors, which is here, and we have our classroom back in the back. I think John's doing an infrared class this coming weekend if you're still interested in it. John's the guy way in the back. Wave, John. If you still want to sign up for it. Do we have any seats left, John? Yeah. Okay, we still got some seats left. And if anybody wants me to take them through a tour on the rest of the complex, we'll cut around through Inspector Outlet, where we sell all our books and marketing material and things like that. I see some faces, very few, that have been here before and got big packets of stuff from us. But for those who are new, this is your first time here, we have bags that we're just going to distribute right now full of marketing material and books and that. Ladies, do you want to bring those bags out and give them out to anybody who hasn't got one? So if you've been here before, you probably don't need one because it's the same material that I gave you before at a chapter event and stuff like that. But we'll give you out some bags to go through. There's books in there. There's the Now book and Success book. What's that? Raise your hand if you want one. We'll give it to you. Kate, while you're here, you want to come up? You're almost next. So is Nikolai in the audience from Inspector Outlet? Where is he? Okay. So Inspector Outlet is actually inside this complex, back in the corner, and we have a display on the table with everything that he sells, including infrared cameras, moisture meters, gas leak detectors, and textbooks. So.
Thanks, Nick. So if you guys wander back over there to the right, you can look around. Excuse our mess. We're going through some rearranging and construction back there. Got a whole bunch of different tools back there for you guys to play with. If you see anything you like, come talk to me. We've got discounted prices on everything, of course, for InterNACHI members. If there's something you're looking for that's not back there or not on the website, email me or contact me too, and I can usually get you a better price on it than you'd find anywhere else. And with that, I'd like to introduce James Candelaria with Legal Shield.
He's got a booth in the back, and there's a raffle for a bottle of wine.
Yeah, raffle for a bottle of wine. And first of all, I just want to thank Ben and thank Ron and thank Nick Is this place incredible or what? Give it up for them. I mean, the House of Horrors, I mean, that is incredible. And I'm just honored to be a sponsor for InterNACHI and the House of Horrors. And what we do is with Legal Shield, I'm going to be right back there to answer any questions you have. But basically, Legal Shield, what it does is it gives you the opportunity. How many of you have one of these? How many of you will never leave home with one of these? Right, it gives you the ability to tap an app right on your phone. You can actually call your law firm, ask any question, get advice on anything, not worry about getting a bill. So imagine being able to check your rights before having to check your checkbook. Any questions you have, if you have contracts you want reviewed, home inspection agreements, any contracts you need reviewed, they'll do that. If you need letters or phone calls made on your behalf, they'll do that also. One of the biggest things, that it protects you, your spouse, and your children up to 26, the membership. It's only $29 a month, and it's month to month. So the reason we keep retention is because our law firm, they're also going to do your will for you. So you can get your will updated, or you can get your will done. A lot of people, we find that like 7 out of 10 Americans don't have their wills made up right now, so that's included in the membership. So anyway, I'm going to have all the details back here. It's all included. There's a lot more to the service, but I'll be happy to answer any questions, get you in the raffle. And thanks again, InterNACHI. We really appreciate everything.
Everything we do at InterNACHI, all the books, the textbooks you see and stuff, goes through one person. It's Kate, our editor-in-chief. And you also get to, if you have a website.
She was about to clap. That's
Oh, good. And also, if you have a website, Kate will, as one of the most popular threads on the message board. The most popular. So she'll look at your website and she'll tear it to shreds, essentially. And not just for spelling and grammar. You really tear it to pieces.
For design issues and everything. Hi, my name is Kate. I'm the editor-in-chief. Great turnout. Thank you all for coming. It's wonderful to see you all. So as Nick said, I do take care of all of the editing for our marketing pieces, our textbooks, and our website's content, courses, articles, etc. So if you ever find a mistake, you can email fast reply at nachi.org, or you can email me directly, Kate, at internachi.org. Give me a link, tell me what the issue is, because accuracy is job one. So we want to make sure that everything is factually accurate, as well as, up to snuff grammatically, regarding punctuation, etc. The other thing that I do, how many of you are active on our forum, on our message board? You've got to get on the message board. I know that part of your certification requirement is to make sure that you log in and get an account and everything. But the great thing about the message board is that you're going to be able to read posts by a lot of our more popular or active posters, I should say, and you'll get a lot of great information. Even if you've been at this for a really long time, it's good to make a connection and share that camaraderie. You'll get lots of good information. If you want me to review your website, then you need to get on the general forum and look for the title, and it's usually at the top because, as Nick said, we've had over 100,000 posts in that thread of people requesting me to just tear up their website. And you have to make your request public, and my feedback will be posted in that thread. And the reason is because, not to website shame anyone, but so that everybody can get the benefit of the information. We'll post the link to your website, and it's all done in the spirit of improving, obviously, and making sure that if you've got kind of a weak website, or you're not getting a lot of hits, or people aren't calling you and saying, yeah, I saw your website, that's why I'm calling you and need a home inspection. I can tell you that I've heard back from folks who said, now I'm getting the hits that I wasn't getting before because you helped me improve it. So check it out. Read my previous reviews. You'll see they're pretty comprehensive. I want to give people a good bang for their buck. The waiting list is very long, but better to get on it now than hesitate, even if your website isn't where you want it to be. Okay, this isn't hand in your essay when it's polished. Just give me your name and your link now, post your request to that thread, and we're good to go. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. What do you charge for this?
It's a free benefit.
All
Free
right.
for members.
James, can you hop up on the ladder? Can you hop up on the ladder? All right, so hey guys, you know I'm all about marketing. That's mostly what I do at InterNACHI. And it would be I'd be very happy if you could all just do me a quick favor. I want a big happy smile and a #1 sign up here so that James up there could get me a picture for the website. Ready? Come on, smile. Yeah, smile, good time. All right, thank you. Did you get it, James? Yeah. All right, we're good, guys. Thanks so much. Michelle, you have some more stuff? Come on.
All right. So one more thing, I don't know if you guys have heard of our Now You've Had a Home Inspection books. They're our home maintenance books. If you have one of the tote bags, there's a couple copies in there, and then one that has a custom sticker with Jessie's number. She's the girl in the back with the purple hair. She's our marketing director, and she's here to talk to you guys about getting custom Now books. If you want to get them for your company, it's a great way to leave a lasting message with your clients. So if you want to go talk to her, she'll be here for the event. And then now we have Chad Johnson from James Hardy Building Products, and he's going to do a presentation for you guys.
Do you want the lights on?
I don't care. Oh, nice and dark. Well, thanks, everybody. I'm excited to be here. What a cool organization. I think it's fabulous. I've dealt with a little bit of home inspectors. I've bought a home. We've sold a home. It's amazing what you guys can find, and it's nice as a homeowner to be able to feel good about buying the house and knowing what you're actually getting. So thank you guys for what you do. So a little bit about me. So I've been with James Hardy for about 1.5 years. Came from Utah, was selling interstate batteries before that. And before that, I did about 6 years of heavy construction, roadways and stuff like that. So a little bit about James Hardy. So who knows about James Hardy? Knows what it is? Who knows what Semplank is? Okay, so they're both made by the same company, and I'll split those up a little bit for you just so you kind of know. What's Hardy made of? Anybody know? Cement? Nope, not fiberglass. Nope, no fiberglass. Asbestos? Not even. Not even a little. So we use... there we go. Silica sand, Portland cement, and cellulose fiber, which is the rebar. That would be your fiber. Yep. So the big thing there. So the silica sand, we want to be a little bit aware of that, and I'll touch on that here in a sec. But the biggest things to know is, we're on 5.5 million homes, probably closer to 6 now. This logo is a little old. And then good housekeeping. So if you sat here and ate, you've seen our warranty thing play about 300 times. So we have our warranty. We're pretty proud of that. We have very little issues. But if there's something that a homeowner doesn't feel like Hardy did them right, and it's a legitimate claim, they can contact Good Housekeeping. And Good Housekeeping will put their money where our mouth is, which is neat. We are still endorsed by them. I'm imagining they would pull that if it cost them too much money to be partnered with us. So we just don't have a lot of issues. So moving on, when I turn this on. All right, so the biggest things you'll watch for just on a job, this will just help their product go better. If you're on a job in the early process doing a 4-way, you'll see the siding out there. We want to have an extra tarp on it, and the purpose for that is to keep the sand and grit out of there, also to keep excess moisture out. So we don't want to see our siding hung if it's saturated. It can get wet. It can be raining while they're hanging it. That's not a problem. We just don't want it laying flat, saturated. It causes issues down the road. And then the other, why is this not? This may be bad. There we go. Okay, so here's the silica sand. So we do have dust. Everything in the construction world has dust, and all dust is bad. Would you guys agree? So the wood sidings, they're impregnating that with chemicals that make it not burn, chemicals that make the bugs not eat it, and all sorts of other things. Hardy by design doesn't burn. We've got a Class 1A fire rating. It doesn't mold. There's not a whole lot of places for termites to get any nutrients out of our stuff. So by the nature of the product, it's better for the longevity of the homeowner. But the dust during installation is something to be concerned of. The biggest issue is just making sure there's a cross breeze. That's helpful. That's about all we ask for. And then they use a proper James Hardy or Diablo blade. It's got less teeth on it, so it takes larger chunks, so there's not as much respiratory dust in the air. So with that, there's not a whole lot of things. They can wear dust masks. They can use a vacuum system. There's a lot of different options for them to manage their dust. But that's about all that we recommend. So this is what I'm going to cover tonight. I do have some papers. I can pass those out at the end, but it's this page exactly. The biggest things we're going to touch on are these. So these are our critical points that seem to get forgotten or skipped. And I'll talk to those. If anybody has any questions, feel free to raise your hand. This is going to be a long night. Why? It keeps pulling up. Can you help me with that? It keeps pulling up a tab. See what this does? Is it left that matters? See, yeah, you're right. This is okay. Yeah. So, what makes James Hardy different? Anybody have an idea? So, it would be our research and development and the fact that we're better by nature. So, the biggest thing is the research and development. Now I'm doing it again. This is horrible. What is the deal? See, it keeps pulling up that.
I'll man it for you. I'll give you our station.
Okay, fair enough. Will you click it over for me? Thank you. So has anybody ever seen lines like this on a road? Where they just keep adding lines until they get it right. I don't know what their plan is. We don't build our siding this way. So we engineer it. We test it on site or at our facility. We've got $20 million that we spend every year on our research and development to make sure it's the best siding. And we do that before we ship it out so that there's little few issues ever. So unlike the other guys, we do have the research and development in our own situation, in our own lab, and we can manage that. See, it did it again. Now we went a few. Okay, so here's our first one. So kick-out flashing. Do you guys see this on homes, or is this usually forgotten? Usually forgotten, unless the builder's fantastic, they'll remember it. This is a little bit of an issue for us. So as a siding guy, why do I care about the roof, right? And as a roofer, why am I worried about the siding? So there's a lot of different issues, but it is a building code issue. We want that kick-out flashing to be 4 inches tall and kick out 4 inches at about 100 degree angle. The reason for that is to push the siding away, and you'll see that right here. So this is perfect for multiple reasons. They've got James Hardy soffit. They've got James Hardy lap. No, the big issue, so that kick-out looks great. It's got the 2-inch clearance on the roof, so you can see that right here, my laser. You see the 2-inch clearance above the shingle, and then that kick-out. So everything about that's going right. Hey, there we go. Was that me? Oh, dang it. All right, so this one's not as good. Does anybody see the issue with this? What's wrong here? Say that again? Wood sheathing. That's right. You can see that. The kick-out's a little bit small. It's just not angled right. There's a lot of things. They've tried to make it nice and discreet, which looks better for a homeowner, but they're going to end up changing it a lot sooner than they would like. This is what will look bad when that water just drains down there for years. They'll start to see this. This is much worse than I've ever seen before, but they can do that. And then that's what it starts looking like behind the wall. So you start getting a lot of issues, so that's important. So the 2 inches above the shingle. So the purpose for that is the thermal transfer that you get between roofs and walls. Things start changing. We want to give that, keep that siding up and out of that moisture so that our siding's not taking it up, and also so our siding's not causing water to stay on those shingles and cause issues that way. So there's a lot of reasons here, but 2 inches vertical above the siding. There's some really nice ways to do that. So like this trim right here, if you've paid the guy to do it right, you get that, and it looks really nice. I wish mine looked that way on my house. This is what I see more of, especially in the track home building. It's a lot easier to lay those pieces of siding right on the roof and just nail it up. And then you start seeing this. I've seen some homes up near Frederick. They were 6 months old and literally looked like this already. And it's just because of the water we get, in a couple rainy seasons, and you end up with some problems. We want to be 2 inches away from patios, things like that, with the siding. So the siding needs to be up 2 inches, above steps, all that. So if that makes sense. Any questions here? Not necessarily a code issue, no. But it's something that would matter for their hardy. LP is going to have the same thing. Many of the sidings want you to be up above that. There's some options too. So this is just a normal 12-inch overhang, for the eave. If you've got a 1-to-1, so the wall's 9 feet and you're on a 9-foot deep porch, you got a nice overhang. It's 1-to-1. You can use. You can be just a 1/4 of an inch above that cement pad. We don't tell a whole lot of installers that because you give them an inch, they take a mile. Some of our higher end guys, we do let them know that so that they keep an eye on things. But yeah, it can be a 1/4 if it's a 1-to-1, if that makes sense. So that 2-inch, you can clean that up. Yep, it was. All right, so you can clean that up with this flashing on the bottom there. Our trim can be a 1/4 of an inch above the ground always. So porches, patios, trim can be a 1/4 of an inch, sidings 2 inches. And that's something that's fairly new and has changed. So that trim there is a 1/4 of an inch. If they run horizontal trim, that can be a 1/4 inch as well. To keep that metal from banging up, you put some OSB behind it. So if any of the builders ask you, what do you want me to do? How do I do this? Have you seen anything? You can tell them yes. Back here in this corner, so above that metal flashing. Go ahead. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. You want it, so it's a 1/4 of an inch above as well, and it's wrapped behind that metal? Sure. Yeah. That's a good idea. Right. And I want, is that, plastic would be definitely better.
You were strictly not allowed to put any wood.
Oh, yeah, Washington for sure.
So
this is a good idea I've seen, but that's something I didn't know. Like, I didn't know, I've never been.
Still length within 6 inches from her.
Fantastic. See, so I learned something. Yeah. Does it matter that it's not structural? Let's teach me now. You're promoting. Well, then don't do this. This is a bad idea. Who put that in the slide? All right. Thank you. You're fine. That's good to know. It's really good to know. I'll literally take that out. Tell them they could put something behind there. Maybe it needs to be treated wood. Plastic. Yeah. Styrofoam would work. Yeah, some rigid foam. No, that kind of an install you don't see every day. Same with this, right? Trimmed out. You're going to pay the guy. So everything has a price, right? But cheaper's not always better. So has anybody seen this tattoo guy? So he's getting a pretty ugly tattoo there. So you can always find it cheaper. And that's something you guys, I think, can use in your business, right? There's always somebody out there doing it cheaper. You get what you pay for. So, and this would be the cheaper guy. This is what he did. So he let the trim hit the ground. The siding's really close. You're starting to see that fall apart. Other than there's some other issues in this photo, but that is a pretty bad looking house, and that's what we want to stay away from. And then 6 inches. So we're back to that. So we need to be 6 inches above grade. Pretty self-explanatory there. We don't want to wick water up. A 1/4 inch. So this is a really close-up shot above a window, the window trims. So you want to be a 1/4 inch above that with no caulking there. So they'll do a caulk dam in the corner and then a 1/4 inch, fill that 1/4 inch. But you don't want caulking there. And the reason why is if water gets behind that siding, if there's something else going on with the roof, a window above, water comes down next to that Tyvek, works its way out above the window rather than around the window. So you wanted to hit that flashing and come out at that point. This is obviously way too tight, and you're starting to see that water weak up, and everybody knows about a meniscus, right, on your cup? So that's what the water does. If it's less than a 1/4 inch, that water can bridge that gap and work its way back up into the siding. So what makes Hardie different? Some of the simple things we've done to try to make the home last longer. We've put a drip edge on the top that's sloped away from the building, and then down on the bottom, it also a bull nose that drips it away from the building. And then the nail line to make sure that they don't flip it upside down and cause the water to work itself back to the building. And that's about the basic there. So we want to do a starter strip. So that's just in the siding packs, you're going to end up getting a few pieces that are broken, cracked, chipped, whatever, that they just don't want to put on the house, which is great because they can rip that down and do that starter strip. How many see the builders doing those? No, that bottom lap's always flat, right? So now that sloped edge on the top of that bottom course of siding is doing no good, and it's keeping the water back there. So the starter strip's good. It gets everything at the right angle, and you start well and you end well at the top of the roof or the top of the wall. They can put that up however they want to put it up. It's kind of their own creativity. But we want it about 1 inch wide, nailed on so it doesn't fall out. So fasteners also, we have a lot of different options. So like Boulder gets a little bit of wind. I cover all the way up into Casper and Cheyenne. They get a little bit of wind. Their stuff, a lot of wind. They have to be rated for like 100 and something miles an hour. So one of the things I've found for the customers that I deal with, I've gotten them to move away from like just the normal siding gun nail. It's perfectly fine and still acceptable, not a problem. The roofing nail is a better practice. It's got that larger head, so it doesn't want to countersink into the siding as deep, which is helpful for the installer. And then it gives you that larger surface area, cuts down on some of the chatter and the wind. Just gives them a larger tolerance, I would imagine. So there's some screws available. You can use, if you're going into metal studs, you can use an ET&F gun. So if you ever have a question with this, all this information is available online. If somebody's saying, hey man, you can use a double D 16 penny nail, you're okay, you can say no. And that's why fasteners are important, right? So if you just throw that thing up with some nice grabber screws, not a great idea. So the do-it-yourselfers, we see a lot of random fasteners. With that, so we want to we blind nail or face nail, but not the two. So if they want to blind nail the whole job, that's perfect. They want to be 1 inch down right in that nail line on the Hardie. The Semplank, which is it's not as advanced as the Hardie. It doesn't have all the drip edges and stuff, and you'll see that if you do a D.H. Horton home. And a lot of the I can't remember now. I can't remember all the builders. Anyway, they do a lot of blind nailing. You can also do a face nail, but you don't do blind nail if you're doing face. It's one or the other. Blind nail should look like that. You should, if you need to, there's some options with an aesthetic pin back. So you can use a finish nail gun on Hardie to nail on that bottom corner where the laps come together. You can nail that back with a finish gun because it's not a structural nail, and it will help tighten up that siding for a while. It helps train the board where to stay. It looks great, and it doesn't affect anything. So that's important. So again, going through the metal stud, this is a really good-looking project, right? They've got their nails set apart. They've got all that, the flashing. That ET&F gun, though, they want to be careful. If you ever get into that, you put that in once. You don't get a finish tapping it with a hammer. When you do that, it loosens it up, and it's no good. So let's see. So no face nails. So this is on a builder here in Denver. They've got their little bit of gapping here. They've got no face nails here, which tells me the house has been blind nailed. And then they decided to throw a few face nails in there just for aesthetics, I guess. And then you've got the joint there, and this is where that aesthetic pin back would be if you needed it. To tie that piece back and make it look uniform to what the other siding is. pretty self-explanatory. You can see, so when they cut Hardie, we want to get it painted with something to seal that cut edge. All Hardie has a primer in it that's on there always. It literally can't happen without the primer. And so when they cut it, now they've exposed raw Hardie, and we want to get that painted with something if they're not going to treat that with something. On the other side, that's perfect. They've got that 1/8 inch gap. They're ready to caulk it. It's going to look neat. So, especially they've used 2 different sizes of lap siding, so that'll be interesting. So not primed and primed. So you see the difference there. They can just use a can of Kills. That's probably the most effective way, and the cut guy usually has that and touches it up as he goes. All right, so joint flashing. The reason for that, so who was I talking to earlier before we started? Here we are. So he was dealing with a builder that didn't want to use any type of anything, right? You've seen that too. So the biggest thing here, so building code says you need what? At the joint. What kind of treatments do you guys look for? So flashing, the joint covers. Is there anything else you can use? Caulking. So one of the 3 have to be used to treat your joints. So you can use caulking, which is okay. Eventually that's going to get goofy, messy, and it doesn't look that great, and it will fail quicker. The H-clip, I call them Band-Aids. You see them all over the house. They work better than the caulking because they don't work themselves to pieces. But you do see it in a hailstorm. The paint chips off those really fast. You also see them fade quicker than the siding. Hardie's one of the few sidings, because we're dimensionally stable, you can touch the product. They can touch it tight, and they can put a piece of flashing behind there. And whatever that is, they can use bituthane, they can use Tyvek pieces. There's a new product I'll show you right here called Bearskin. So they can use that stuff. So this looks really good to me. Anybody notice a problem that you would pick out? What's that? It does. It's 6 inches each way. This piece right here? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's supposed to be 6 inches. That's the dimension of them. Yeah. So yeah, anything else? How about fasteners? How do they look? Not enough. Bingo, thank you. But they're using roofing nails, so it doesn't matter anymore, right? No, not at all. They've probably got 3 feet there, 2.5 feet with no nail. So there's always something to find. When I took this picture, I thought, God, that looks really good. Because I was looking at one thing and not noticing the other. And I imagine that's probably the most difficult thing with your guys' job. I couldn't imagine get sidetracked, or pulled away. But this bearskin works really nice. That dark strip is paintable, looks really good. They touch the siding nice and tight. And with those gaps where the siding terminates into trim, and they're good to go. So we like to see blockouts as well. So you'll see these on remodels. I doubt you'll see them a lot in the track building world. What they're doing is they're using these things. They're nice for multiple reasons. So it doesn't fatigue the siding as much. You're not trying to cut circles in the siding and then hang it goofy. How do you get a piece of siding over a hose bib that's already on? And then the last thing, let's say that hose bib freezes or the dryer clogs or they need to do something else. You just pull out that block out and you don't destroy the siding. You can just replace the new block out. So there's a lot of different options there. They'll use siding. Same as you would caulk it the same as a window. So where the siding comes to the trim, you're going to caulk that with that and then the 1/4 inch gap above with no caulking so water can get out as well. So here's good and bad again. Pretty simple to see what's going on here. This guy did not use any gapping because it was easier just to set that siding on the top of the flashing. And then also we're going to put a 1/4 inch above all the flashing when we transition from siding into rock. And that again is just to get that water out. And then we do flash the side there. With Hardie being cementitious, it will transfer water from the cementitious siding to the rock that's built out a similar product. And then it just starts transferring. With that, you're going to start seeing some salts and different things transferring as well and get efflorescence, which looks horrible. And that, again, who does a lot of remodels in here? Do you guys inspect remodel stuff? A little bit? Everything. Okay. So when you see those, have you ever noticed Hardy is painted on the sides and the front, not the back? I've met one guy that thinks he needs to go and take a paint roller and roll the back of all of our siding. The reason for that would be efflorescence. You want anything in there, moisture-wise, to be able to go through the path of least resistance, which is out the back of the siding, and let it do what it does, rather than try to go through the paint on the front side where the sun's pulling it. So little bits of hints. That 1/4 inch is not just a siding or Hardy thing. Cedar's going to require that. Stucco is going to require that. And then, other types of siding too. And then we need that gap here as well. And you can see why with that water damage soaking up into that wood there. So it's something to watch for, that 1/4 inch gap on all horizontal joints. But then you start picking the job apart too much, they won't call you back, I guess. I don't know what happens there. And then we're going to do a 22.5 cut in all the trim, and we're going to stagger those at least 16 inches. 12 inches. And that breaks it up, gives it a stronger corner. A lot of guys are pre-building these corners before they put them on the wall. Helps keep it straight. So there's some helpful things. And then you can use up to 1 inch of rigid foam behind the siding. And you just need to extend your fastener so that it still can get 1 inch into stud. So any questions? I went through that as fast as I felt like I could. Nothing? So, all right. So, real quick, tell me about gapping. I have some water bottles somewhere. Where did I put those? Oh, they're in my bag. I've got some water bottles. I got 2 water bottles and 2 questions. So, tell me why what type of gapping do we need? Oh, freak, you can't all answer. Somebody had to raise their hand. I'm going to let y'all fight over it. Okay.
I heard this guy be first.
Was he first?
Yep.
I'm not going to throw this because I'll hit you right in the head. I'm horrible at this game. And then, so what's the best siding out there, like, and why? And why?
James Hardy because of research and development.
Research and development? What else?
Quality product, quality control.
Just keep it going, right? All right. So I did, I ordered water bottles. They'll probably be here tomorrow. I had like 40 of them coming, so sorry. Those were my backup, I guess. So yeah, any questions, go ahead and I've got some information over here. I have this paper I want to give you guys. It's just something to put in your binder as you're looking at stuff. You can pull it out if you get in one of those conversations. I'm sure those don't happen often enough. All right, that's it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, everybody. If you've been here before or if you got a blue bag today, you've got a book I wrote earlier this year called Stacks, A Home Inspector's Guide to Increasing Gross Revenue. But I just put out a new book. It's just published. We just published it about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. It's called Sleep Well. It's a home inspector's guide to managing risk. So we have a bunch in the back. If you haven't got that, that book is free in the back of the room. One of the best ways you can manage risk is by giving everybody, your clients, a Now That You've Had a Home Inspection book. And the books are $2.70 a piece. And if you want them a custom cover with your picture on the front or your logo or your contact information on the front and back, we do that for you at no extra cost. You can see Jesse in the back. What do you want to do? Wide angle lens or something? All right, can you guys smile at least this time? You don't have to do the hands up. But James here wants to take a wide angle lens shot of the audience. So just everybody smile like you're happy. Smile. Hee, smile. Go on, James. You got it yet? Say when, James. Smile. We're all smiling, James. Smiling. One more. Come on, James. Come on. Don't fall off the ladder on the way down, or everybody will be laughing instead of smiling. All right, thank you, everybody. Ron, you want to come up? Ron Huffman is our school director here at InterNACHI, and I think are we actually going to go into the house today? All right, Ron, here you go.
Thank you, Nick. I'd like to thank Chad for his presentation on James Hardy. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this where you go to a house and you look in the house and for years I had one builder I argued with every time I got there. There's no weather resistant barrier. I can see between the boards. They hand me their evaluation report, specification of installation. In there it says it needs a weather resistant barrier. No, we don't need it. Well, can't help that, I guess. But thanks for coming and helping us out. We're going to have some James Hardy siding on the House of Horrors here before too long. So that's exciting. I'd like to thank James Caldera with Legal Shield for coming. I'm excited about having them part of the InterNACHI School from the perspective I've had Legal Shield twice in my life. Once about 25 years ago, worked real good, and then life happened and I dropped it for a while. I got it again about 3-4 years ago. I'm very happy with it, so keep that in mind. A couple thoughts here. InterNACHI School. Tomorrow, John McKenna's running the infrared class tomorrow and Saturday. And if you're interested in taking the moisture intrusion class, I'm teaching that on Sunday. And it goes through, John shows you all the wows and wings and all the cool photos and all that kind of stuff. I'll help you understand why you're getting all those funny colors on the photos and that kind of thing. So I think it's a good combination. If you want to sign up, we still have room. Come on and sign up for that. One other thing, and I've got to get a little bit of text done, so I got to send it to Kate. But we are now announcing that we're going to be doing some pre-licensing classes. And we're going to be doing them in January 9th through 10th. It's kind of interesting. There's a couple states that have some funny laws for licensing. One's Virginia, and you have to have 35 hours of education or 35 hours of school to get your license. Only 15 have to be live. You have to have 35 total. So we're doing a class in January 9th through 10th for people who just want to do the 18 hours that they need live, or they can stay for the whole time for 4 days from the 9th through the 12th. Concurrent with that, we're running, basically it's 90-hour classes. So you start with the first and you continue on. Just letting you know about what we got going here. 90 hours for pre-licensing for Arkansas and Kentucky. In February, our intent, and we'll get this all on the schedule as soon as I get the verbiage done, we'll be having classes here for non-licensed states. If you want to learn how to be a homosexual, if you have somebody you're wanting to train, we'll help you train them. We'll have them come here and we'll teach them here, take them through the House of Horrors and so forth. A couple other potential classes we have coming up. I'd like to see a show of hands if people are interested in this or not. One thing we're talking about is what we call Inspection Bridge. And that's where everybody goes through all the classes. You learn all this good stuff and you're kind of going, okay, now what do I do? How do I apply it? I'm nervous about going out and doing that first inspection. What we're thinking about doing, and I'd like to see hands if people think it'd be good or not, is have 2 days spending here, going through the House of Horrors, looking at the systems, identifying defects, trying to see whether they're a significant defect, not a significant defect, and how to write it up. And 2 days of that's what we're thinking. Anybody think that'd be useful, somebody getting out of school? Okay, so that's one thing we're looking at. Another thing that we're talking about, and that's probably going to tack on the end of the January classes. Another thing we're looking at is we're thinking we call it maybe inspector launch or something like that, where basically you come in, spend a day, we'd work with you. You need to do some work up front, come up with a business plan, come up with a marketing plan, and ideas for what marketing tools you need, and work with the InterNACHI staff and House of Horrors and so forth to work through that and see what's going on. Does anybody think that might be a useful tool if you're starting your own business? Yeah. Okay. All right. Then a couple other things just curious about. I've had a couple of you comments you'd like to take the stucco class, and I'm just trying to figure out when we need to have the class fill up a little bit. Part of it's my fault for not getting it announced soon enough, but I'm thinking possibly in December or something like that. It's basically by that point in time we'll have the other wall claddings on the house, so it's going to not be a stucco class, but rather wall covering class, where we'll be looking at the eaves, moisture drainage eaves, hardcoat stucco, adhered stone, James Hardy, basically vinyl, aluminum, wood siding, basically all the sidings type situation. Is anybody interested in taking that? It'd be a 2-day class to do that. So probably sometime early December might be a good time on that. Get it past Thanksgiving, but before the holidays. Is that sounding reasonable? Okay, we'll look at pulling that together. I think we did have 2 classes scheduled for next weekend. One was looking at roofs and so forth, and we just didn't get the roofs done on the house soon enough to really be able to do an effective class. So we're postponing that. We'll get that rescheduled too. So, any other questions about what I'm doing? Or I'm going to pass on to Kenton here in a second. So that's what we got going. It's exciting. We're moving ahead now. It seemed like we were stuck in first gear there for a while, because it's amazing all the effort that Kenton's done getting this up and running, creating the vision or making the dream come a reality. So I'll go ahead and pass it on to Kenton here to kind of fill you in a little bit about what the House of Horrors is about. He's our chief builder, designer, and so forth. Here's Kenton.
Thanks, Ron. I've been the chief grunt, too. Thanks for coming. We first began talking about building a House of Horrors in, I don't know when it was, but we put out a newspaper in 2005, and that's the first time it's mentioned in print. And it wasn't until we moved into here in January that we actually finally got to start it. So we've been really happy. It's been a great project, and it's been quite a bit of fun, actually, because most of us who've been in construction for a long time want to do things correctly, and you have that stuck in your mind, and it's really hard. It's amazingly hard to actually plan to do things incorrectly and then do them, especially when you're working with somebody else and you're saying, well, no, don't do that. Well, go ahead, I was the framer mainly and collaborated with Ron and Ben and Nick Gromyko on the design and coming up with the defects. And we're hoping to get the bulk of it finished by the end of the year. I don't want to take a lot of your time because I want to give you time to go through the house, and we've got 4 different things to look at. We've got stucco walls, we've got tools, we have marketing help in the classroom over there, and I'll be walking around answering questions about the House of Horrors. So if you would, try and divide yourself into 4 groups and kind of move in between those 4 things, and give everybody a chance to take a look at the house and the marketing and the walls and everything, the tools. Thanks. Oh, sorry about that. So we got what we call the InterNACHI Challenge. Take one of these sheets. They're on that table over there, and you'll be trying to find 4 things wrong with each of the home systems on the House of Horrors. And the plumbing was just finished today, so you might pay particular attention to that. Is that it?
So go ahead, kind of split things up between the house, the marketing department, the stucco walls, just chat amongst yourselves, but check everything out and enjoy.